With the Clancy era finishing, and as we move on to the Breach era now, let's take a look back at this era and, go through everything from the start all the way to the end and just speak about it, because it is one of the best eras in 21 Pilots history. It might even be the best era, but whatever, that's a different argument. You can say, I guess, the Blurryface era was the best era, or maybe the Trench era, but I wasn't around really for those eras, especially the Blurryface era wasn't really around. I was there for the Psy era, and I love the Psy era. If anyone tells you otherwise, screw them. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video. But for now, let's talk about this bad boy right here. Let's speak about it from the start all the way to the Breach announcement. Welcome back to Dorian Mode, ladies and gentlemen, where I just talk about music. To be honest, the channel's mostly about 21 Pilots. I'm trying not to, just be a 21 Pilots channel, but they're my favorite band, and, well, sorry, they're releasing another album, so there's going to be a lot of content on that. I also should be posting more here. I'll try. There's going to be Breach reactions. In August, there's going to be a vlog for the Tyler the Creator show that I'm going to. That is in August. That's when the show is. It's in August. And my Ranking 5 album series will be making a return. I know I didn't actually do anything about it in these past couple months. I'm sorry. But let's just talk about it. Let's just go ahead. We start off in February of 2024. Now, I don't have dates. All right. I think it was around the 15th or 17th of February. Whatever it was is whatever it was. But red tape started to cover the eyes of all the album covers, excluding self-titled, and everyone was wondering why. To be honest, I still am wondering why. On the same day that the red tape started to appear on all those albums, fans, not me, but other fans received DEMA letters to their house. And I'm not speaking at all anymore about DEMA letters. So if you want a lore recap on DEMA letters, I'm not the person for that. Go find someone else that will know a lot more about it. I'm not that intapped with the lore. I know the lore. I'm not intapped as much as I am with some other things with the band, or even other types of lore in other places. But I love this band. Anyways, still in February, the new 21 Pilots logo was revealed through billboards and posters that were just randomly put throughout, the world. Like, nothing from them on their Instagrams or Twitters or anything, just random posters. And that's when we received the I Am Clancy video, a short 4-ish minute video. I'm pretty sure it is 3 to 4 minute video, where they basically explain the entire story up to the point of, before Clancy's release. And then at the end, tease a new song. That song being Overcompensate.
I am Clancy.
Which was released a day after it was announced, where the boys did say that there was going to be new music the week after the I Am Clancy video. But we didn't know what it was. They said Overcompensate and said it's releasing tomorrow. And it did. And I reacted to it. It's on my other channel somewhere. Go find it. But then the day after Overcompensate, they announced Clancy for the, when was it? The 17th of May or the 24th of May? And then it was the 24th of May, then got postponed to the 30th. I think. Maybe it was the 30th. I don't know. One of those 2 days. It got postponed by a week. They also announced that there was going to be 14 music videos for every single song on this album. They also only announced 13 songs for the album. So what was that 14th song about? Well, we'll get to that. Then in March, you had tour teasers, basically, showing up around the world. Also, let's talk about the album cover, all right? I love this album cover, and I have since they announced it. And there was a big discourse online basically saying how shit it was. I think you're wrong. I think people were still salty from Scaled on Icy before they heard the music on Clancy. But to be honest, that's probably the best album cover. Not ready to hear that, are you? But yeah, let me know what you think of this album cover now. Let me know what you think of the Breach album cover as well. I love it. I love this. I love everything. Whatever. And then we had the release of Next Semester. Great music video. Great song. Once again, every single song on this album was reacted to on my channel somewhere, so go find it. The day after Next Semester, or around that same time that Next Semester got released, the Clancy World Tour was announced. Doing a North American show, then coming to Australia and New Zealand, going to South America, and then going to Europe. And I was excited, because I never seen them live. I really, really wish they would have came during Scaled and Icy, but at the same time, they couldn't because of COVID. That's a different story. We move on to April now, where Backslide releases, and that's it. That is it. This actually might have been where the 14 music videos did get announced. I'm not sure. I couldn't really find an exact date. I put it in February, but it could have been April. or late March. Then in May, it starts to pick up because we had these random messages that people were receiving from the 21 Pilots account for a show. The show would then be called An Evening with 21 Pilots. 5 shows, 2 in America, 1 in Germany, 1 in the UK, and in Mexico as well. Which, around that same time, they released the Craving single version. What is that? It's just another version of the Craving, which ended up being on the album, whereas this wasn't on the album. So, I don't know. Apparently, Tyler just felt like he needed to make 2 versions of this song. So he did. That released a week before the album, which was released on the 24th of May. Okay, I've written down the 24th of May. It was postponed from the 17th to the 24th of May. My bad. But Clancy released on the 24th of May, and along with that came a live stream where the boys live streamed every single music video for each song on the album, besides Paladin, which is the last song on the record, because they hadn't finished editing it yet, and they left us on a cliffhanger. If you've heard the song, you know what it is. And then the Clancy Digital Remains released at the end of May, which featured live versions of the 4 singles and included a bunch of other stuff like posters and drawings and stuff like that. But the big thing was a puzzle, which in June, it took us about 3-4 weeks to bloody figure it out. But in June, once the community figured out the puzzle, they released the Paladin Straight music video. And what a music video that was. Is it the best music video? I don't know. I actually don't even know what the best music video is from this era. That's basically it for the release of Clancy before the Clancy World Tour does start and runs through August, September, and October. Main things other than the tour kicking off. This random guy in the crowd has now made a stance, not a stance, but, you know, a permanent thing now on 21 Pilots shows where everyone will now say, "My death." And the other big part of this was, on that first show, they kicked it off in Denver. I actually reacted to it live as well. It's on my other channel somewhere. On that Denver show, they played Slowtown, which was a big surprise. Wow, they're playing a regional, what the hell? A regional at best song live. Like, not short version or anything. They played the full song.
It doesn't exist.
What? And then the next night, on night 2 of Denver, they played Oldie Station instead in that same spot, with the crowd chanting for Slowtown and booing Oldie Station. And it happened for a couple of shows after that where they just didn't play Slowtown until they got to Columbus, which makes sense because the song's about Columbus. And 21 Pilots fans, you suck, all right? Between the tree circle and everything going on with that, between something later on in the Europe shows, it's not obviously all 21 Pilots fans, but the ones that are as stupid as a fucking rock on the middle of the fucking island that no one knows about. Like, that's just, you need to stop. Oldie Station's such a good song. I'm glad I heard it live. I think they took it off the set list. They did take it off the set list in the end, but it's for a different reason, which I will get to later. After the tour finishes around October 11th, 12th, I don't know the exact date, but around that time, nothing really happens until late November, where they do the Australia leg of the tour. And they also release The Line from the Arcane show. And when they released The Line, it was on the same day as the show I went to. So I was kind of hoping they'd play it, but they didn't, which is fine, which is fair. I mean, it literally came out that day, so I wouldn't expect them to have all the backing tracks and everything sorted for it. So, but yeah, The Line, which did really, really well and is still doing really, really well for them. If we check their stats on Spotify, it's currently still their 5th most popular song at 154 million streams, which is already more than the most streamed song off of this album, which is Overcompensate. So good on the boys. They can actually write a song that does get a lot of streams and is nationally or internationally recognized as a good song, which this whole album should be. But anyways, move on to December, where there was no tour. They weren't touring at this point. They finished the OCE tour. Yeah, I say OCE, it's Australia New Zealand leg. In December, they did 2 more performances. One was at the Game Awards, where they performed The Line for the first time live with Tyler's Scream. The other one was at the Jingle Bell Ball, which I actually do not remember the set list. Let me have a look. So they played The Line at the Game Awards on the 12th of December, and then the 13th and the 15th, they played at Jingle Bell Ball, 2 different Jingle Bell Balls. They played an 8-song set list on the 13th, and on the 15th, they played a 7-song set list, which included Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Jingle Balls. Not Jingle Bells, Jingle Balls.
Jingle balls, jingle balls, jingle all the way.
And that was it for 2024. Nothing else until we had the South America leg of the tour in 2025, where they replaced the oldie section or the older song section with The Line. So no more Migraine, no more Fall Away, no more Forest, and no more Attic with a Pen. And instead they replaced it with The Line, and then still did Mulberry Street. And then in March, they did one thing, which was an intermission show, or a sort of halftime show, for the NHL.
As far as we're concerned, there's only 2 places in the entire world tonight. It's Columbus, Ohio, and everywhere else!
And what a performance it was. They played 5 songs, Overcompensate, Holding On To You, Ride, Heathens, and then Stressed Out. And then we had April/May, which was the final 2 months of the Clancy era, where we had the European tour. And my God, did things just kick up a notch from here. We didn't really get that much anyway in the North American tours, besides, I guess, the start of the tour where we actually saw all the shenanigans that went on during the tour. Nothing in Australia changed. Nothing in South America changed besides The Line being played. But Europe, we got everything. Everything happened. Just, you think of something, it happened. In one of the first shows, it might have been the first 5 shows, it was in Poland. Around that time on TikTok, the Doubt demo that was played during the Vessel live stream gained a lot of traction on TikTok. It was getting very, very popular. So the boys said, you know what? Paul Meany here, make something out of this demo. Let's release it. So they released the Doubt demo, and that's what they ended up replacing Oldie Station with. Other things to note from the tour is the backslide scream getting louder and louder and louder as the shows kept on going. Clancy not seeing the torchbearer anymore on the last show, not being able to grab the jacket off him, and the torchbearer standing alone as Dima burns. As well, on one of those last 2 shows, it might have been the second last show, the fucking navigating scream. As well as the trees drum getting stolen and then them having to chain it up for the next couple of shows. Diabolical behavior from 21 Pilots fans once again, or fan I should say. It was one guy, girl, I don't know, it looked like a guy, but I think it was a girl, I don't know. And then at the same time, it was the 10th anniversary of Blurryface. This was, I think, just after the tour finished, and we got the Eye returning from the Blurryface era with the eyes closed, and they went on that year hiatus before Trench. This time, instead of the Blurryface logo, it was the Clancy logo, as well as Blurryface on Twitter tweeting again, calling Tyler or calling Clancy a coward for using blue or whatever. And then we had the bombshell. Random night for me anyway. It was at like 1 a.m. We got the announcement of Breach the second that Eye closed, and the contract being the first single. The day that I am recording this, it is Tuesday the 10th. The day that this releases is going to be hopefully on the Thursday, the day before it comes out, which means you will be getting that reaction at some point. But to sum up what I thought of the Clancy era, man, such a good era to keep up with as well. It was short. It was only about a year and 3 to 4 months long, but very, very jam-packed compared to the Scaled and Icy era, which was 2 years of COVID, of the live stream experience, plus all the shows, the 2 different tours, MTV Unplugged. There was a lot more in the Scaled and Icy era, and I honestly think, though, these past 2 eras beat the Trench era, beat the Blurryface era, beat, I'm not going to count the Vessel era, but yeah, in general, album's great, era was greater. Let's put it that way, ladies and gentlemen. Bring on Breach. Very, very excited. Let's get it done. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought of this era and of this album and your predictions for Breach. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye for now.